you can learn a surprising amount of information about just one word from a dictionary. And today I'm going to tell you how. This is going to be a two-part series, with part one being printed dictionaries and part two being my favorite online dictionaries. So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss that second part. And also, if you are learning German from scratch, I am developing a brand new 2-month intensive German course for beginners and offering an exclusive discount to the first 50 people to enroll. So you can get that by clicking the link above or down below and taking the survey. So let's get started with dictionaries. If you're just starting out learning, or even if you're learning more, you might be using a bilingual dictionary. And today we're going to talk about German-English bilingual dictionaries, but there are bilingual dictionaries for many different languages. Here I have mine. Now, you're going to find different information depending on the type of bilingual dictionary. Most of them, like these here, are made for beginners, so they're going to have a lot of information about the parts of speech, German noun, gender, endings, things like that. More specialized dictionaries like these for business, engineering, and also business are going to have less about the parts of speech and go into more detail about the word, because it's helping you learn specific terminology for a certain field. So I'm going to do the general dictionaries in this video because those are the most useful for German learners. And so I have here a HarperCollins German Concise Dictionary. You can tell that has historically been my favorite because it is really worn down. I used to take this thing everywhere. I have Langenscheidt. This is a really good dictionary, nice cover, good detail. And then we have the Collins Dictionary. This is also good. Many of these have online versions you can use if you don't like paper form. So let's start with the Collins Dictionary. And let's take a look at nouns first, because the information you're going to find will differ depending on whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective. So let's see. The first thing you need to remember is that German nouns are always capitalized. So if you're looking in a dictionary and you're wondering if it's a noun, if it's capitalized, then it definitely is. There aren't any good ones in the U section. How about S? S, yes. And in these dictionaries, this is German English. So the front half is starting in German and going to English, and the second half is starting in English and going to German. So you can look up in both directions depending on where in the book you look. Here, the first thing you're going to notice, here we'll look at Sendung, is that there are letters in brackets, these really funny letters. And these are actually to tell you how to pronounce the word. They're phonetic letters. So you can see Sendung. And most dictionaries that have this convention will also have a list at the beginning that tells you how to pronounce each character. And in the case of the bilingual German dictionary, you have examples on the left in German and examples on the right in English. So no matter which language is most familiar to you, you can figure out how to pronounce that character and then apply it here. So Sendung, Sendung, I already know that's how it is spelled. We have this little apostrophe up here to indicate emphasis. So since the emphasis is at the beginning of the word, it's at the beginning. Then we have this tiny little F So that means it's a feminine noun. And let me see if there's a neutral one. Oh, here we have Zender. That's masculine, so it has an M. There's Zendenetz, which is neuter. So that's NT. And after that, you're going to have the English designation. And don't just stop at the first English translation you see, because you may notice if you read on that there are many different types of translations, and that depends on the context. So one word can mean many different things, and the context is what determines the meaning. So here we have consignment. And then here in parentheses you have Aufgabe, which is like a task. And if you were translating it in the sense of a task, then it would mean mission. Or Rundfunk, TV, in the sense of television, it would be a transmission. Program, like a television program, would be a program, and that's the British spelling, so you have Brit in parentheses. Or, you also have the American spelling with US in parentheses. And so that's pretty much all we have for that one. If we go down to Zenf, you can see it has everything we just talked about, but it also has these endings. This is if you want to make it genitive, so basically possessive. So you would add an E and then an S, Zenfis. On the right here, we have Zenfe, and that is the plural. So you have the genitive ending first, the plural second, then you go on to the gender, which is masculine because we have an M, then the meaning. And in some of these, you'll see these bold letters, seinen, and then a little swish, dazugeben. So the swish represents the word you're looking up, so seinen Senf dazugeben. And this is usually either an idiomatic phrase or something like a very common phrase. And you'll see here in parentheses UMG, which means umgangssprachlich, like really colloquial. And then you'll see the translation is to put one's oar in. But we know that Senf means mustard, so this is clearly an idiom, a German idiom that the dictionary is telling us about. And it's really useful to look at those. You can learn a lot from that. On the end, we also have blue words sometimes, little blue words, and those are additional words that are pretty common that incorporate this initial one. So we have Senfkorn. And you can see from the NT that is neuter, and it means mustard seed. So that's a pretty good example of a noun and everything you see with nouns. Now let's find a verb. I see selten here. And you can see again, it has the pronunciation, the emphasis. It says ADJ, which actually means it's an adjective. Okay, that's not a verb. But it means rare. It can also be an adverb. It means seldom, rarely. You see a lot of these adjectives that are adverbs in German. Well, let's find a verb. Come on. How about senken? Senken. So, VT means verb, and the general meaning is to lower. Now, you don't have the pronunciation. Maybe they figure it's kind of obvious. For a few of these, you don't have the pronunciation. So, to lower, and then we have context here. So, if you're lowering your head, Kopf, then it means to bow. Technology, if it has to do with technology, senken could mean to sink. VR. I'm not sure the difference between VT and VR. So if you're talking about technology, it could be to sink. And then if you're talking about Stimme, which is voice, it could mean to drop. So you have really nice context there to help you figure out which meaning is applicable. Sitzen is really good. Sitzen, see, we have the pronunciation there. We have all this context. And then we have some of these bold words. So jemanden ein Denkmal setzen. That means to build a monument to somebody. So that's a very common phrase that, it's an English speaker might not think of to use it that way, which makes these bold phrases very helpful. Sich zu jemanden setzen, to sit with somebody. How about a preposition? Each preposition is either accusative, dative, or both. And the dictionary will tell you about that too. So with for, it tells you how to pronounce it. We have prep, meaning preposition, and then plus dat, which means dative. So it's a dative preposition. And it has a lot of examples for you. Now, für, I happen to know that's accusative. Yeah, so see, preposition accusative. It has a pronunciation. It has a bunch of examples. And then Fürbitte, intercession. Here we have funkelnagelneu, which is an adjective, clearly. And again, we have the UMG because that's not something you would write in a scientific paper, right? But it is umgangssprachlich. So you have all these different things, all this different information, and these three are pretty similar. So we can check if there's anything else going on, but I don't think so. This one has English to German in the front, German to English in the back. Actually has less detail because it's smaller. This one, about the same. About the same. And then with these ones, you're not going to find as much detail. Actually, some of these are also very specialized too. This one only goes from English into German. This one only goes from German into English. This one goes both ways. So English into German at the front, German into English at the back. So you do have a lot with pronunciation and the gender of the noun, because that will never cease to be an issue. And then you have the meaning and perhaps some context, but you're not going to have a lot. And that is it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you have any favorite dictionaries you like to use. And don't forget to sign up for my new course. If you sign up now and give me your feedback, you can get a really great discount for when it comes out in March. So see you next time. Tschüss!